Okay, so now we're on live.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see where it's at. Give me 1 second.
What is the French committee?
So I guess each country or language or I don't know can
Okay.
have a committee now or.
Here's the link, guys. If you guys want to copy it and paste it out.
Yeah, but what is the French committee?
The French have organized themselves, so they, as a language group, they have organized themselves into a group.
Ah, okay. I see.
We should start a Zimbabwe movement or something. Those people really need next.
Yeah.
You know, it's like bring some guys from I don't know some Zimbabwe forum or something.
Zimbabwe forum. You know a lot of those?
Not really.
Why the fuck are you hanging around on Zimbabwe forums?
No.
Yeah, no.
All right, guys. So just a reminder, guys, that we are live. So let's
Okay.
let's make sure that we.
You see how many people are watching us? Like 1,000.
So let's try to represent the next community well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We will. Okay.
So, hello, guys.
Should we begin? Hello.
Hello, this is Graviton.
Okay, Graviton.
Yeah, no.
All right, guys. So just a reminder, guys, that we are live. So let's.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Let's go ahead and get started. If you guys can, let me first of all just a quick housekeeping here, guys. Let me get everyone to just go ahead and mute their phones or silence their phones so we won't get interrupted during the broadcast. The other thing too is that
Hello, guys.
please, if you look at the avatars that you have at the bottom right, please mute your microphone unless you have something to say so that we don't get feedback because we're broadcasting live and I want to make sure that everybody hears it clearly. Audio quality is very important so that people can hear it from around the world, okay? So I just want to quickly introduce everyone that I can. Some of us here that are joining us are guests, and then some of us are developers and key people in the Next community, and I want to introduce them and give them a chance to speak and update the Next community, okay? And in case you're watching this and you're not familiar, my name is Tai Zen, and I'm one of the moderators of this Next community update here, and with co-moderators is Bass. Can you raise your hand, Bass, or say something?
Hello.
All right, and then we also have David also.
Hello.
And we have 3 moderators here in case one of us cannot make it. The other 2 can take up the slack and make sure it's done on time. And first I want to apologize to the guests that I invited for this next update, to you, Graviton, and Wesley, and everyone else. I was not aware of the daylight savings time that's going on in Europe right now, so sorry about the delay, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
All right. And also, if you're watching this live on YouTube, I guess you can go to the link that we have here and type in the chats if you have a question, or just leave a comment at the bottom of the video, and we will be monitoring it. All right. So, okay. All right, let's go ahead and get started, guys. One of the key players that we have in the Next community right now is Wesley, and he's one of the main developers for the Next client called the Wesley client. It will become the default Next client. So I invited him on here today so that he can update everyone on what's going on with the client, where to get it at, where to download it, how to make sure it's secure, and what are some of the features and the benefits of the Wesley client. All right. Are you available? Can you hear us, Wesley?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. First of all, Wesley, where is the best place to download your client? Let's start with that.
People can just go to http://nextra.org.
Okay.
Click the link in the header.
Okay. What are some? Okay. If you just join us, please mute your microphone that's on top of your avatar so that we don't get feedback. And David, if you could help us type in those links as Wesley's going through them, that way it would people can see it. Right. All right. Thanks, David. All right. So when we go here, you have. I'm looking at the site right now, Wesley. We have the Mac and the Windows version. Is there anything? First of all, how did your client become the default client for the Next community?
Well, it's just because it's I made it an HTML client, and the original client is also HTML, so it's easy to swap it out.
Okay.
The old client with the new one.
Yeah, and your client looks a lot cleaner. It has all the features on it too, so it's a lot cleaner than the original Next client. Now, do you have a specific date on when this client will become the default client?
No, I do not have that, but it's up to Jean-Luc to decide this.
Okay. And for anyone that's watching this, Jean-Luc is the lead core developer on the Next project right now. So what is preventing your Wesley client from becoming the default? Does the code need to be reviewed? Is there security issues that need to be audited first before it becomes a default client, or what?
Well, yes, amongst others. But I've asked Antonis, if you know him, to review the code. He has already done part of that and has found no errors, so that's good. But now, due to the new Next Quant system, the Satoshi-like system, I have to also make modifications to my client before it can be used. So, but I will have this finished this week.
Okay, can you quickly explain the Satoshi issue that you just mentioned?
Well, at the moment, Next is just a whole number. So the minimum is 1 next, and this is going to be changed to 10 to the -8 next.
Okay, so you have to add 8 decimal places to it first before it can go public. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, okay. And what other whenever people is this a one-click install client?
Well, of course Java has to be installed, but other than that, it's just one click to start the server and everything, and it will open in a dedicated application instead of the browser.
Okay, okay.
And I understand it's also cross-platform, isn't it?
Yes, I will also make a Linux version available soon.
Okay. Let me see. Now, you have up here on yours, you have a Next faucet that's available so that when someone downloads your client, they can get some Next coins there. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, so how will the community be able to assist you in this? I know that you're doing that off of donations and stuff. You have, let me see, at the bottom of most of your web pages at nextra.org, you also have a link there. I invite the viewers or any audience members that's watching this right now to help further the development of this Wesley client, that if you guys have some Next coins to spare, to send it Wesley's way so that he can help out with the Next faucet, right? I also see that you have the Next alias system mentioned at the top right there. Could you just explain that just real quickly there, Wesley?
Well, this is a plugin for browsers I developed a few months ago that allows you to, well, open an alias, a next alias, and be redirected to the URL associated with that alias. But I haven't updated it in some time now because I'm working on the client.
Okay. Can you hold on real quick? Someone is typing pretty hard in the background. If you're doing some typing, could you please mute your microphone? The mute button is over the avatar.
That's probably.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. Could you continue, Wesley, with the alias system?
Yeah. So it's just when you type the alias in the browser, it will redirect to the associated URL. So it's a kind of DNS, but it relies on a browser plugin.
Okay. And what is the advantage of that over like the regular URLs that people normally use?
Well, what is the advantage? It's just it was as an example to show what is possible with alias system, and when it's the advantage. Of course, there is no central authority to decide.
Okay, because like right now, if someone wants to buy a website domain name, they have to register with Icon or ICANN or something like that.
Yeah.
So with this alias system, there's no need for that.
But of course, the downside is that everyone has to have this plugin installed.
Okay, okay. But at least there's no centralization. There's no organization or anything that owns all the domain names.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Did you guys have any other questions or for that? Wesley, David?
Nah, I don't have any questions for that.
Okay. Any questions for him, Graviton?
Wesley, I was looking at your client today again, and I was wondering while I was unable to reach Dirk to ask some questions. I understand he was working with you recently in the messaging part. So, is your client working through the old HTTP API, or is it a lower level Java API?
Well, it's a web client, so it has to be via HTTP API. But that's not an old API. That's just it's the API. You have the HTTP API and the Java API.
So you're using both?
No, I just use the HTTP API, not the Java API.
Oh yeah, okay. That's what I thought. Thanks.
Okay.
Sorry guys, I have an important call from my work. I really need to go. Excuse me.
Okay. Okay,
Emergency. Okay.
All right. I also I had another question for you, Wesley. Your client, when someone sets up the Wesley client, does it automatically start forging new coins? In other words, does it start automatically processing other transactions for the network automatically, or is that something that the user has to activate?
Well, if you download the application, then it will start forging automatically on the local host. But I will also make it so I will have light clients like the one on my site. And this will not forge automatically because when you forge, you have to send the password to the server. This is the design of the API at the moment. And this is not secure.
Okay,
so do it automatically locally. You can activate it remotely, but that's on your own risk.
Okay. I spoke with you in the past. You are the main developer for the Wesley client. How can someone join in to help you to make the client better, or to help you with the coding and everything? If there's somebody in the cryptocurrency community that wants to assist you, how do they go about doing that?
Well, they can just send me an email or something, or just start submitting pull requests on the Bitbucket repository. But yeah, I would like to have some help from others.
Okay, and what type of help are you looking for? What type of people are you looking for that can help you specifically with this client?
Well, just people that know a bit of JavaScript and HTML. That's all that's required.
Okay. And is there a certain experience level or background that they need to have to make it easier for them to help you? Do they need to have a background in cryptocurrency or anything like that?
No, that's not needed. It's just a bit of Ajax, and that's all that's needed. You don't have to have any knowledge of cryptocurrency because I'm just using the HTTP API, which handles all those things in the background.
Okay. Okay. All right. Is there any other common issues that you see that people are having with the client, that there's a misunderstanding about the client or anything that people need to know about in the next community?
The thing I hear most often is the protection of the accounts. So
Okay.
if you account, you don't have the full protection. You have to first make an outgoing transaction. So this is something I have also put in my clients a notice. When I see that the user does not yet have a public key, I put a notice there that they should do an outgoing transaction to fully secure their account.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you recommend that when people activate the client, they send at least one transaction to another account?
Yes, a message or buying alias or yeah, whatever.
Okay, and they just can they just do that with just one Next coin? It does not have to be a large quantity or anything, right?
Yeah. The minimum is okay.
Okay, and then after it does that, then the client connects with the blockchain, or what happens after you send that one bit Next coin?
Then you get a public key in the blockchain.
Oh, okay. So by sending that one Next coin to another account, whether it's a friend or anyone, then that publishes and adds the public key of your account to the next blockchain.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's all the questions that I have for now. Unless you have any other questions for Wesley, David.
No, I think it was illuminating.
Okay. Anything else, Graviton? Okay, I see that.
I have one. Is it when will it be possible to pay the dividends through the asset exchange? Is it already implemented that you can pay right away from the stock? You know, the
Dividends on the asset exchange, you mean? Dividends.
Yeah.
No, that's not possible at the moment, and at the moment it's just buy and sell, nothing else. So I don't know when they will implement this or if they will even implement it.
Okay, so it depends from the core developers.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. No further questions.
Okay, thanks. And for some of you guys that are watching, this is what is it? A BitVenture? Is that your display
Yeah,
name?
that's me.
Okay.
The guy with the domain.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, Wesley, and updating us with your Wesley client. Do you have anything else to comment on? If not, I'd like to move over to Graviton and let him share with us about the Offspring client and what's going on at DGEX.
No further comments from me. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Next, I'd like to bring on Graviton here, and he's the owner. Is that correct, Graviton? The owner of DGEX.com, the
That's
first
right.
next exchange that came on the market.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and you guys also recently released the Offspring client.
Yeah. Last month we released.
Okay,
The Offspring.
just real quick so that all the viewers will know where the client is at. Where's the best and the safest place to download the client?
It has a dedicated website at offspring.dgex.com.
Okay.
And from there we have links to the various builds for the platforms. Yeah, it's a cross-platform client, so you can download Windows or Mac or Linux version from GitHub. But the central place for all those links is at offspring.dgex.com.
Okay, I'm just going to put that in the chat box here real quick in case anyone had trouble hearing it. So right there, it's at offspring.dgex.com. And
Yes.
when I go there, I notice that there are a series of downloads should they just download the latest version, the one with the biggest number? Right now, I'm looking at Offspring 0.4.1.
Yeah, that's the only one that should be up there.
Okay, and you also included a SHA-1 and an MD5 hash. Could you talk a little bit about what that's for?
Yeah, that's for verifying the file integrity. So you can be certain that the file is not tampered or modified in the middle of the transport process.
Okay.
That's quite a geeky process, I would like to say. But some people like to verify their files
Okay.
that they are authentic from the original source that it was intended to be downloaded from.
Okay. So those the SHA-1 and the MD5 hash is to authenticate that the files actually came from you guys, and it's not a fake or a bad file,
Exactly.
and that it contains all the files that you guys created.
Yes.
Okay. So that's highly recommended that everyone always authenticates the file before they use it.
Yes, as a good manner, I should recommend that, but it could be unpractical on occasion. But as a rule of thumb, when you download financial software like this, it would be recommended, of course. And there are some various helper software that can help you to verify the file hashes, and you can just search around in Google.
Okay.
Those.
Okay, so just search for verify SHA-1 or a checksum, and then they should come up with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, could you talk a little bit about the differences between your Offspring client and other clients that's available on the in the NXT community?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we think that Offspring is a brilliant piece of software.
Okay.
Of course.
And what makes it brilliant so that everyone knows?
Yeah. Well, it's the only NXT client that is shipped with the full NXT engine and low-level Java API.
Okay, could you hold on real quick, Graviton? Sorry to interrupt you. Hey, Salsa, I noticed you just joined. If you can, just mute your microphone. Okay. Hey, Salsa, I just had to mute your microphone because we were getting a lot of heavy feedback from your end. So. Okay, Graviton, could you go ahead and continue? You were talking about the API and what makes the Offspring client brilliant.
Yeah, so Offspring is the only one that is shipped with the NXT core engine intact and using the Java API directly for the core interaction. Okay. Whereas from the user's point of view, it's quite similar to Wesley's client as what comes to functionality.
Okay.
However, from the security point of view and the technology, it's quite different because we have put quite a lot of efforts to implementing the low-level Java API, so it should work seamlessly on your operating system. Whereas Wesley's client, where I understand it's more like web browser technology. You have a separate software for that, but it's using the web browser JavaScript technology, I understand, and the like we just discussed with Wesley, it's using the old HTTP API that might just have some security complications in the long run.
Okay, so yours is a desktop client then. It's not a browser client, browser-based client.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit like comparing the Bitcoin Satoshi client with blockchain.info.
Okay.
Web wallet.
All right. Okay. Is there anything else that people need to know about the Offspring client? Any common problems that you guys are seeing people having that you want to let the audience know and be aware of so they can avoid it?
For the Offspring, I think it's quite straightforward. There have been some installation problems with Mac especially, but they are resolved. There are posts on the fora that describe the solutions to these problems. And anyhow, I would be thrilled to see people try out Offspring as a good alternative because it's from the functionality point of view, it's quite similar to Wesley's client, but from the technology, it's more like a desktop software that has the looks of your operating system and the functionality of your operating system and direct links. You can click almost everywhere, and the links take you to further details of an account, for example, or alias. Or if you start to type in alias, you see instant feedback about the availability of the aliases and stuff like that.
Okay, all right. I also want to give Wesley a chance to make a comment here because he said that there's in the chat that there's no security complications with HTTP. Do you want to say something about that, Wesley?
Yeah, I didn't know if I heard it correctly or not. Did you say that there were security issues with Graviton?
Sorry, was that the question?
Did you say that there were security issues with HTTP?
Yeah, I was referring to the potential security issues while you are using the HTTP API to connect to the NXT core engine. I'm not sure if you can use your client to connect to a third-party server. It can probably be used as a thin client, I believe.
No, all the transactions are, well, we get the raw transaction bytes from the third-party server, then we sign it locally, and then we broadcast those transactions. So the password never goes to that third-party server, so it's completely safe.
I see. Okay. What's your view on the recent OpenSSL vulnerabilities? Is it related to your technology at any way? Are you using OpenSSL locally in the client?
Could you repeat that again?
You want me to go ahead and repeat it from Graviton? Graviton asked if with the recent the OpenSSL issue with the Heartbleed issue, if it affects your client in any way.
No, and I have also just got an email from Jean-Luc. I asked him about this, and the NRS server is using Jetty, which uses Java, and so that should be safe from the OpenSSL bug. But my client, well, like I said, everything is signed locally, so there is no password sent to the server, so there is no issue there.
Yeah. Okay, that's great.
Indeed.
That's great to hear.
Okay, so yeah, I wanted to hear that both the clients were secure and safe. And by the way, whatever you just did, Wesley, the audio sounds much better.
I did nothing.
Okay, all right. All right. Did you have any questions for Graviton, David?
No, not really.
Okay, BitVenture, any questions?
Yeah, one question with this OpenSSL. If Graviton fixed this issue, because all the Bitcoin exchanges had this issue with the OpenSSL, if he fixed it, because there is a vulnerability and exchanges can be hacked. With
yes.
This. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I brought up with Wesley just a minute ago. So DGX, if you're referring to DGX website, we are using Cloudflare's denial of service protection, which includes the certificate forwarding, and I'm convinced that the problem is mitigated already. From there, we ran some tests, and we got a negative result that it's not affected at the moment.
Okay. Okay, so you guys, once you guys became aware of the OpenSSL issue, you guys have taken steps to correct that already and done tests and show that the test results are negative.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for Graviton? Okay. Is there anything else about the Offspring client that you need you want the community to know about Graviton?
Not really. You'll be able to know a lot more when you try it out, of course.
Okay. And if someone wants to contribute code or want to help out you guys develop the client, is that possible, or is that something that you guys do in-house only?
Oh, it's possible and desirable, of course. Just a couple of weeks ago, we made Offspring open source, whereas it was developed in-house for 3 months
Okay.
straight. So now it's open source, and we would welcome any further development
Okay.
with that. So everyone is welcome. I know it's difficult to step into a large piece of software bundle just like that, but in case someone wants to customize it for their needs, it's possible and desirable.
Okay. And are you guys looking for any help to develop that or anything?
In fact, we are looking for Java proficient people, but that has been very difficult to find. So if anyone here listening for this is looking for Java jobs, you're welcome to contact us.
Okay. And where is the best place to contact you guys? At DGEX or at GitHub or where?
Well, you can send a message through the DGX website or contact me at one of the forums, nextcoin.org or the Next Forum,
Okay.
or email me directly at admin.dgx.com.
Okay. All right. And let's move on just a little bit to change topics and move over to DGEX. Is there any new developments with DGEX that you want the community to be aware of, or anything that any misunderstandings or anything like that, so that we can get it cleared and get everyone updated?
Yeah, well, first of all, I could say something about the setting that we are seeing. I think most of us have noticed the decline in the trading volume overall throughout the cryptocurrency scene, in Bitcoin and in Next especially.
Okay.
And when we compare that to the situation in December and January, where DGX was the singular point of operations for anything regarding Next, and the only business doing anything with Next, it was quite different situation back then, and I'm quite relieved, to be honest, to see the field spread up a little, so we can build with the community a more sustainable base for development.
Okay, in the beginning of this year, you guys were the only exchange for Next, and what you're saying is that you're happy to see and glad to see that there are other Next exchanges popping up.
Yes.
So the risk is being diversified instead of just being all on one exchange.
Exactly, and there are some other points to pay attention to, like we are also operating the original Next community forum, nextcoin.org, and the original setup included us running both the only exchange and the only forum, and naturally that spurred up some controversy and confrontation, which was not desirable. So now the situation is much better when the field is spread out and there are multiple operators working independently, and also the workload of our back has decreased to suitable levels, so we are able to serve clients much more efficiently. Now that the trading volume is maybe 5% of the high points in January.
Okay.
So,
now, I know that you guys recently did like an IPO for DGEX. Could you talk a little bit about that? And is that still open to the community, or is that closed now, or what's the status on that?
The IPVO, the initial public virtual offering of DGX profit share tokens, it's closed now. The shares are trading on the DGX website and DGX platform. They're trading publicly there. Everyone can purchase shares by establishing a DGX account and funding it with the NXT. So the virtual offering was a real success.
Okay.
We sold all the shares that were reserved for the public distribution. First, we have had a private offering for selected larger investors. Then we had the public offering for smaller investors, and now we released the share for public trading. So it's all going according to the plan.
Okay, so basically, for the viewers that are not aware, DGEX had a public offering of their exchange, and people were offered shares in the exchange, and now those shares are, I guess, are ownership of the exchange. Is that correct, or is that?
They are legally they are tokens entitling the owner to a share of profits of the exchange.
Okay, so it's a profit sharing program then.
Yes.
And then whoever owns the shares gets a proportion of the profits from DGEX.
Exactly.
And those shares are being traded at DGEX right now.
Yes.
Okay. And they are traded on based on NEX, right? Or is it?
Yes, the price is based on NEXT, and we were surprised to see the price to stabilize near the or slightly above the final public offering price. So the share price is surprisingly stable. One factor for that is, of course, the nice profits that are distributed weekly. We distribute profits weekly to shareholders in both NEXT and Bitcoin terms, so they can see immediately the tendencies that are in work in the scene and in the trading volume.
Okay. Another question that I often hear people ask, about exchanges is that could you talk about the trading fees and the transaction fees and the times that it takes to withdraw the NEX or the Bitcoins off DGEX?
Yeah, we are still using partially manual processing in batch. We like to verify the most of the incoming money and the outgoing money for security reasons, as there are too many hazards to automate it all and have us all over expose it for hackers. So that's how we are doing it. So the deposits are accredited a few times daily, sometimes faster, sometimes it takes a bit longer, but at least once a day we credit the deposits. And
okay.
For withdrawals, we run them basically for NEXT. We run them once a day, every night, in batches.
Okay. Now,
yeah.
one of the issues that we had with Mt. Gox was the insolvency issue. They didn't have enough bitcoins to service the clients. Now, how do you guys keep the NEX coins on the secure at the exchange? Do you guys keep a large percentage of it? What percentage do you guys keep in cold storage?
For NEXT coins, we keep everything in cold storage. We don't do instant withdrawals for NEXT. We only have a small limited Bitcoin wallet for instant withdrawals daily. So in case it's exposed, we only lose a minor fraction of the Bitcoin funds. And for NEXT, we do all the cash outs by verifying them manually and then running a batch process that pays the daily withdrawals. And in top of that, we have a real-time accounting monitoring software that alerts us anytime there is some discrepancy with the number of real funds as compared to the funds in our database. Unfortunately, with the current technology, it's quite impossible to have a independent decentralized feature to verify that the exchanges actually carry their backup funds in reality. There are some projects that are aimed to elevate that lack of feature, but nobody is able to do it currently. So in effect, people have to trust the exchange that they are carrying the backup funds intact.
Okay.
So it depends who you can trust. Obviously, in Mt. Gox's case, you couldn't trust them.
Okay. Have you guys done anything different as far as security goes ever since Mt. Gox collapsed to avoid a similar issue, or have you guys done anything different?
Yeah, we have paid some more attention to the internal coherence of our accounting systems and the monitoring of the real-time balances. So the payout processes are stricter now, and also we verify withdrawals in case they come from another IP address and the destination account is not in our system previously. So we have to verify those manually by emailing the customer and asking him some questions about the ownership of the account.
Okay.
So that's why it takes a bit longer for the GX to process the funds usually.
Okay. That's all the questions that I have right now. Bass, I've seen that you just joined us, and Tim Swanson. Do you guys have any other questions for Graviton?
No, no.
I'm here just to discuss blockchain 2.0 stuff that came out yesterday. But that's it.
Okay. All right. All right. Any questions from David? No.
No, none at all.
Okay. All right. Do you guys have any future developments that you would like to announce or want the community to be aware of Graviton before we move over to another guest?
Well, we have constantly we are developing some new parts to the software. Unfortunately, during these first months, the development has aimed towards enforcing the internal system and making it more secure. However, in the next month or a couple of months, we are rolling out several new features. There should be some, for example, a chat facility. We already have some charts in our markets page at dgx.com/trading.cgi. And further announcements will be in the line.
All right.
Quite soon.
Well, I want to say thanks, for joining us today on the live broadcast here, so that to update the next community with your Offspring client and with the workings at DGEX. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Okay. All right. And if you want to continue to stay and for the rest of the update, be happy to have you here. If you have to go, you're welcome to also. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Also, we just have Tim Swanson join us. Hello, Tim.
Hey guys, great to be here. Thanks for the invitation, David, and everybody else.
Tim is here to talk about the blockchain 2.0, and I'd like to turn that over to David, and then I'll just chime in with questions because David was the one who actually told me about the blockchain 2.0. So you want to take over, David?
Yeah. Basically, I just got a lot of questions regarding it because all of the technicalities is a bit too complicated for me to grasp the entire picture of it. So it would be great if you could present the idea of the blockchain 2.0 and how it will affect Bitcoin.
Sure, okay. So again, blockchain 2.0 is just a filler name. They haven't announced the actual name yet. Give you guys a background if you haven't seen it. Austin Hill, he's a VC who worked in the space about 15, 20 years ago with the original Cypher Hacker guys. And he's working with Adam Back, who invented Hashcash, as well as a few other developers. I don't know any specific names involved besides those two. But what they've done is they figured out a way to use, it's called a two-way pegging system, to allow basically let me back up this a slight bit. They're working with merge mining, this technique like Namecoin uses, and atomic transactions to move between these merge mine chains. They're calling them side chains. These side chains actually aren't new. Actually, all the stuff that they're talking about in this announcement have been discussed openly for basically 6 months. It's just putting it all together in a company is the new part. And the announcement was, like I said, it was yesterday, and it's gonna. I think it'll impact a lot of the 2.0 space, especially like Ethereum, because what they want to do is with these side chains, they want to enable like smart contracting and user-created assets, HFT, a more robust scripting language. I'm not sure if it's necessarily going to be Turing complete. So you have these competing side chains, but they're all unified using the Bitcoin main as a kind of a transactional currency. I don't know too many specific details other than they're going to use a two-way pegging system, and I don't know the actual specifics on how that technically works. There's a thread I linked to in the article I wrote with Greg Maxwell explaining it, and apparently it's been signed off. This method that they're going to do has been signed off by several other core devs. And I don't know exactly how it'll impact NXT per se. It's just going to be more competition for you guys in an organized manner. I mean, these guys have funding. They have shipped products before. So it's not like another, no offense to BitShares, but it's not like BitShares. So I hope everyone, I hope everyone survives. No, look, it's just, there's so much talk in this space, not enough shipped code. And these guys at least have a proven track record of actually, shipping production code. Any questions?
Okay, that was a very... Okay, let's have a question from Ty first.
So what makes this so exciting and such a big thing in the crypto world right now, Tim? Other than the fact that it's coming from a group of guys that has been proven to produce code and products before.
Sure, yeah, I think the biggest issue is the fact that they're going to continue using ASICs, and you're going to have these shareholders of Bitcoin are going to want to promote this. So what's happened is in the last year you've seen about 8 projects spring up, or I guess the last 18 months you have 8 projects, and it's moved mindshare away. You guys have taken mindshare away to a different system, and as a result, those who hold Bitcoin are torn, right? They're like, oh, I like this new idea of NXT, but I have these assets, and I want the assets to appreciate in value. By creating new utility with the actual system itself currently, it's actually going to be easier for them to evangelize. Basically, this created a whole pile of evangelists for their new product. And once people, especially the anti-altcoin crowd, learn about how this system works, they'll be all about promoting it. And so I'm not saying that this exactly will happen tomorrow, but there's a built-in incentive for those who hold Bitcoin to promote this product because it benefits them 100% by bringing more utility, more developers back into the space around the existing ASIC frames infrastructure.
So basically, it's easier for people to promote it because they already have a stake in Bitcoin.
Yeah, like there's no downside to it, but like people telling, like they're like, oh, this is a 2.0 system we could believe in because it benefits us. And I'm not saying that's going to be the selling point, but as a Bitcoin holder, if you hold any amount, this is a great way to increase the potential utility of your own system and therefore the price appreciation of your token.
Okay.
Because in order to use these sidechains, you'll necessarily have to use Bitcoin tokens initially to move between, so therefore it creates more demand for the underlying asset.
So just to make sure I understand correctly, you're saying that these side blockchains are able to connect into the Bitcoin blockchain, and so that the Bitcoin tokens or currency can flow between these different blockchains?
Essentially, yes. They don't actually move to the other chain. They're in Adam Back's terms, they're firewalled off, and it's done through an atomic transaction. So if you guys aren't familiar with atomic transactions, the easiest example would be if you're trying to register for a flight. When you click your seat, you either get the seat and the the time, or you don't. There's no like you get half and half. All right, so it's you just transfer all the way, and it's a known property within this crypto ledger space, and that's what they're going to try to do to move between these chains.
All right. The name blockchain 2.0. Could you clarify that so that the viewers know exactly the difference between that and the cryptocurrencies 2.0 like Next, so
Sure.
that there's no confusion there? Because the term 2.0 makes it sound like it's an altcoin, and from your article on Let's Talk Bitcoin, it does not appear that this is an altcoin. This is part of Bitcoin.
Absolutely, yeah. So that was their own term. They call it blockchain 2.0, I think because they want to say, hey, we're going to have these features of 2.0 that these alts have, but we're not an alt. They're not creating, in their words, they're not creating another scarcity, scarcity chase, scarcity war, because no new bitcoins are created. You're just going to create these side chains, and these side chains will create this extensibility. Like I said, you have smart contracts, user-created assets. So yes, they aren't technically an alt. They are just an extension to the existing code base, and this is where it's interesting because since he's hired core devs, and the core devs work on Bitcoin main. It's been, I think it's an easier way for them to actually get what they want to have done. It's actually really smart. You'll have people I know complaining about this is not fair, blah blah blah. It's just the way the system is. So
when you say that people will complain that it's not fair, what exactly is not fair about it?
Sure. So I'm not sure if you saw the counterparty fight about 2 weeks ago between a couple of core developers and counterparty, and so there was a feature non-feature called op return, which was announced in October by Gavin Andreessen. And he said, hey, we're going to have this 80-byte hash, and you can do extra stuff with this hash, like a distributed contract. And right before 0.9 of Bitcoin D was released, they actually reduced it to 40 bytes. And, there's no actual technical... they did give technical reasons, like, hey, this wasn't supposed to be used for it. It was supposed to be used for ECDSA keys, right? But in the long and the short, there's really no big difference between holding 40 bytes versus 80 bytes. And so, based on the emails I've gotten in the last couple days, I've had some people, since I'm in contact with different groups, they're like, oh, this is not fair. That was a conflict of interest. The reason they reduced it is because they're working on another competing project. So that's the only reason I'm saying, people might complain is they could be seen as conflict of interest. I'm not saying there is. Again, I try to be as diplomatic as possible. I think it's cool to have more competition in the space. But that's the comment I was referring to.
Okay. You have any other questions, David? Bass?
I'm just wondering, do you have any opinion on how it will affect Mastercoin differently from Counterparty and NXT?
Sure. So there's a difference between what they have on paper and what they've announced, as well as what they'll actually execute on. So again, there's no shipped code. You just have some really, really clever, smart guys who understand this stuff. And so immediately I don't see it necessarily impacting anybody. It's just going to make everyone want to work faster because you see this competitive force coming right at you. Long term, if they could execute on this, obviously I think it will move mindshare back to square one, which was the the Bitcoin community. So I could be wrong, but I think this could affect Mastercoin and Counterparty in the long run, but this is assuming that they execute what they've mentioned.
I've been reading the article during your talk, the one that was linked in the sidebar. As far as I see, they're trying to do the same things as a lot of 2.0s, yes, and at the same time keep the network that is already there. Try to get that in from the start instead of the other like us and the other 2.0s who are building. Is that basically what's happening here?
Yeah, in a way, they want to just take these cool ideas everyone else has been working on,
Yeah.
and create a method to where, hey, we already have all this capital. Like ASICs, we all agree ASICs, there's so much dead weight there, right? There's no use of after you have 50% of the hash rate. It's this extra protection. So how can we bring back utility to do actual other things with this network? That doesn't actually solve the overhead. You still have overhead, but it does solve the fact that Bitcoin only tracks one particular asset for one particular thing. So if they could integrate all these other different features in an experimental fashion where it doesn't affect Bitcoin main, then it's really a brilliant idea. I'm not necessarily endorsing it. It's just really cool looking at how they actually trying to approach this.
Yeah. Well, it's not that I'm always interested in these things. The first knee-jerk reaction of all these things is to say, oh, it's competition. But one of the things that I find in all these projects is that competition works. As you say, it gives everyone an incentive to see where they are and what their deadlines are at the moment. So, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I
totally agree.
I think that based on what you're saying, Tim, when they have the core developers involved from Bitcoin, I think that lends a lot of credibility to their project. And the fact that you claim that they have produced results before, that gives further claim to their project over the other cryptocurrency 2.0s. So.
Yeah, again, I'm not necessarily endorsing them, but they went the right approach. I just finished writing a paper on this and explaining how you have this unused asset, these volunteers who are really smart and really skilled. And there's not, no offense to you guys in here, but there's not many people who could actually build a blockchain. Like if I was going to put you in a room and say, hey, build a blockchain, and you can't use anybody else. So you have this scarce labor that is not being rewarded. And so, you have, if you have that ability, you want to be rewarded for that. So you create a 2.0. Well, this is a way, hey, I see these valuable people. I'm going to hire you, and since you already have this inside knowledge, let's just get you to work on the system as it is. So I think it's a brilliant coup. I have to, give them a round of applause for thinking of it.
Well, would you say that will likely drain talent away from the cryptocurrencies 2.0s like NXT or Ethereum or any of the other 2.0 currencies?
I'm not sure if you'll see necessarily, like Daniel Larimer leave or BitShares or Vitalik leave Ethereum, but I think people who may have gone to work with them, either in a volunteer capacity or actual, business capacity, that they might reconsider that and, begin to work on this other project. So that's just, my assumption going forward. I don't know if that will be the case.
Any input, Graviton?
No, I'm fine.
No. Okay.
Okay, so I just got a quick question. Are the transactions going to be confirmed faster than Bitcoin?
Yeah, great question. So each sidechain it looks like won't have any actual new blocks. It'll be fee-based. So basically, I'm not sure how the timings will work, but there was a question that Adam Levine asked these guys, and they said, hey, look, initially it's just going to be kind of like the Namecoin merging, but they want to basically create HFT capabilities to where they could do tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, so faster timings. I don't know exactly how they'll do that with a merge mining process. I've read the different forums posts. Like the longest one I recommend people read through is from Killer Storm about 7 months ago on Bitcoin Talk. And Killer Storm's actually Alex Murtahi, who's the lead dev of Colored Coins, and he posts how merge mining can work, and you could do different types of cool things with it. And so to answer your question, technically, apparently there's a way to actually do faster confirmation times and faster transactions per second.
What happens if some a cryptocurrency 2.0 like NXT comes out and they're able to exceed these transaction speeds that everyone is dreaming of?
Wow, I think Visa would call you up and hire you all. So, like, one of the hardest problems, and this is not to to knock on the community, but in a decentralized system, you're going to have some overhead because you have all these different systems going at the same time. In a centralized system, it typically is easier to do these confirmation times because you know exactly which nodes you're going to go at. I think NXT actually has a smart idea in the fact that you guys RNG to a specific forger, right? That's how you guys do this. So that's pretty clever. If you guys could somehow speed up the block timings significantly, you might be able to compete at some point. But if you just look at the amount of volume and how much it costs for that transaction, the actual transaction costs for Visa are like 0.0005 cents or something. It's just itty bitty per transaction. Obviously there's a lot of other middle players that take different pieces of it. But the idea that you could actually compete with Visa, you might end up having just to create a facility like Visa, and that kind of defeats the purpose of being decentralized, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've seen that already. That's not a new issue. So I wish you guys good luck. By the way, if you guys could do timings like them, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that's what they're currently working on. So we'll see how it goes. It's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to actually produce code that produces those results. So, what keeps a blockchain like the next blockchain from merging with the Bitcoin blockchain with this blockchain 2.0? Is that even possible, or is that something that's so far-fetched that we shouldn't even talk about it? Or
sure, the most important thing people should be aware of with merge mining is you have to get the mining pools on board because again, consensus is reached through the mining network, and they're going to reject code that's not profitable to them. So what you'd have to do, and this is what Austin Hill said in his interview, is they've contacted mining pools to get them on board. I don't know how they did that. I'm not sure how many mining pools are on board. But if you don't have them on board, you'll have a problem with 51% attacks. So that's what happened. There's 2 years ago, Coiled Coin was attempting to do merge mining without getting these guys on board, and Iliagis, which is Luke Jr.'s pool, they did a 51% attack, knocked them out. So you really have to get these guys, and you have to give them an incentive to actually cycle through your code in a sense. And as a proof of stake, there's no mining really involved. Although I just saw someone pointed to some NXT mining site. I don't know what to think of it, but that's has nothing to do with this right now.
Yeah. Okay. That's all the questions I have for now. Unless any of you guys have other questions for Tim.
Well, it's one of the things that's not the technical part, but it's one of the things I was asking earlier about. Basically, you're also this 2.0 is also profiting from the fact that there's already a big community behind it. One of the things that all the new 2.0 have a problem with is building community. And getting to getting to some form of critical mass. You're already saying this also with the 51% problem. If you don't have critical mass, you die. That's probably what happens in the whole. What's your view on that? In this is also about the diluting of all these projects together. If we have now 4, 5. What's the way to go in this? Is the way working together, sharing things, etc.? No idea.
Sure. Yeah. So again, I don't have the best idea for you. I have one idea that you could possibly look at. So you saw what happened with Oculus. People donated $250,000 worth of money to Indiegogo, and then they were bought, and they didn't receive any kind of equity. And if it hadn't been for the $250,000, they wouldn't have been able to succeed to get to that point, right? Mm-hmm. So one way to get around that in the future is through crowd equity. Basically, the Oculus could have issued some shares, and they could have done this in a cryptographic manner. There's 2 projects that I'm aware of that are trying to do this. Join My IPO, which is through Amos. He's one of the guys on the Colored Coins team. Basically, they issue these dividends or shares in through the Bitcoin ecosystem, and they use a Colored Coin wallet to track it and stuff like that. Another one that I've been actually trying to help out a little bit is Let's Talk Bitcoin Coin. It's ltvcoin.com, and basically they want to do the same thing for content. Like Huffington Post doesn't pay their bloggers, and yet they benefit from the traffic from it. So one way they could do this is they could say, hey, if you post content or you post a comment, we will give you a token, right? So it creates this desire to actually improve on the system. There's obviously ways to game it and stuff like that. But what some of these 2.0 projects can do, including those, NXT, since you guys are still relatively young, maybe in addition to doing bounties, you could say, hey, if you're producing this stuff, here's a % of equity. Now, it's harder to do since you've already launched, but like Ethereum, this is something I've been trying to tell them about. Is like, dude, if you guys, they have, by the way, like 60 founders, like founder shares now. Like there's up to 60 people who are receiving these things. And that eventually could cause conflict. Because what if you've done just as much as your number 61 and you somehow lost out, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to create people. You want to create this buy-in. You want to create an incentive to get people to actually want to continue reinforcing this. So doing some kind of crowd equity might be a way to get people on board. I don't know how you do it after you've already begun shipping like you guys have. That's something we could talk about that later if you'd like. But yeah, these are good questions. That's a really good question there, boss.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm still this blockchain 2.0. Can people invest into that, or are they going to have like an IPO like Ethereum, or is this something that's going to be a set of tokens that's going to be issued when they come out, or is this all in-house, or how does this work? I mean, like, from an investor's perspective, right? Is there anything that I can do to get involved in it other than own bitcoins? And
yeah, so
talk about. But what is it in an investor? Because I'm not a technical person. All I need to know is, hey, basically, what's in it for me? Do I invest into it? Do I look into it? Do I preach about it? What is it that they are offering besides their products and services?
Sure. So. Again, this is just based on what I've known from people who I've talked to, and it's public information at this point, is there's one company which is funded by Austin Hill. Again, Austin Hill is this VC. You guys could look him up. He's really active on Twitter, and he's, I don't know how the investment model works with his company. I'm not sure if you could just email and say, hey, I'm an angel. I want to put some, certain amount into it. I don't know how that specific aspect works. I don't think that they will do a public IPO like Ethereum or Mastercoin or some kind of burning like Counterparty did. I think it'll just be a company, and the way that they'll monetize, I'm not quite sure. Maybe they'll license it to enterprises, because ultimately they see themselves as a blockchain company, not as a Bitcoin company. They want to figure a way to, utilize this technology to bring it into enterprises and institutions and help out asset managers and so on. But more to the point, I don't think that there will be necessarily any additional tokens that you could buy on these side chains. Like initially starting off, like Adam Back says he doesn't want to have another scarcity race. So I don't know if maybe they create 3 or 4 different side chains. If you want to move a Bitcoin to one of these chains, if that's going to be, if there's going to be like a value from like 1 to 1,000. I don't know that breakdown or how that will work. I'll let you know as soon as I do, though.
Okay, and let us know if he's interested in using Nex as the token.
Sure. If I hear anything about that, yeah.
Or if he wants to use Nex to pay all his developers.
Yeah, I will put that down. I'll ask him next time.
Okay. Tim, thanks for joining us. Can you type in the chat your blog or where people can reach out to you or subscribe to some of your material or some of your content?
Sure. Here's my email address. Here is my Twitter. And here's my website. Just for a little disclosure, I actually work in a completely different area. I worked in China for a while, and most of my clients are still in China. I do market research for Chinese companies, basically. So
okay.
I do the crypto stuff because it's a really cool. It racks my brain. I have to think of new things, and everyone's really brilliant and really friendly to me, and they teach me. They're all smarter than me. You guys are all good teachers.
Speaking of research and racking your brain, what has been your perspective of Next so far? from someone that is on the outside? What I mean, can you give us some feedback so that when the developers and others in the next community are watching this, they can get some kind of feedback from someone who's at the front line of the crypto world?
Sure. So my takeaway so I wrote a book about this space about a month ago, and I actually had some pretty kind words for proof of stake itself. I think you guys have found a way that's low cost infrastructure and it doesn't require a significant amount of overhead at all to run it. You don't need a large amount of capital to participate. I think actually your biggest advantage won't necessarily be a payments network. You guys could, we could talk about that later on, but I think your guys' advantage could be creating a turnkey solution to bring into institutions, because if you want to do asset management or if you want to track like medical records and so on, proof of work just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There's no reason to have this, this CPU war inside your enterprise, right? So proof of stake, I think, would be a really good technology to bring. So if you guys could do like a side group that does, turnkey solutions, basically customize proof of stakes for proof of stake systems for these enterprises, you might be able to spin that off into a company and a consulting company like EDS. Now, obviously, that might conflict with the decentralized nature and some of the other goals of your organization. So, but I thought that your guys' biggest advantage is low infrastructure requirements, yet with similar, security, safety. Like you guys are not vulnerable unless like 90% of people, or unless 90% of the tokens are held by one party or something like that. You guys can't be hit by 51% attack. So. Other than that, honestly, I just never see. I'm out here in Silicon Valley, and I go to some meetups, and I just don't hear much about NXT. I'm not sure if that's because you're young. I haven't heard anything negative. It's just nobody's heard of it. So I think awareness, branding, marketing certainly is another area. But my understanding is also you guys are pretty young too in terms of like code releases. That's intentional, right? You don't want to necessarily promote a product that's not been completely vetted. So it's one of those. It just might just take some time. You certainly the farthest along in terms of proof of stake. Nobody else is as close.
Yeah, that's one thing that one of the things that prompted me to join the Next community.
That's very interesting. I think.
Yeah, that's one of the things that prompted me to join the Next community, was that there was a lot of cryptocurrencies 2.0s that talk about it, but Next was the first one I saw that actually produced the code for it for people to start using it. So I do agree with a lot of the points that you're saying, is that if we can somehow get the Next code into businesses and help get commercial use for it, that will really expand it and gain wider adoption.
And we are actually working on parallel chains. I think that's just a different name for side chains, basically. So we are playing around with the idea of having side chains that will be specified for different operations, so to speak. So, but I don't know the details about it, but we are definitely experimenting and playing around with all of these creative ideas.
Okay. All right. Any last thoughts or words on the blockchain 2.0, Tim, before we move on to our next guest?
You guys have your work cut out for you. That's a good thing. Like you said, competition breeds better products, and so the fact that you guys have a real team that's moving into this space, that's has this experience in funding, I think will just bring out the best in everybody, and it'll only help the community, I think.
Yeah, I believe that competition is good. I don't think it's a bad thing, especially for this young market right now.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your invitation, and best of luck, everybody. Okay.
Okay. All right. And all right. Thanks for joining us, Tim.
My pleasure. Bye.
Is BitVenture still on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Bit. Did you and David want to update us on the next.org or the next.com domain site that you guys are working on?
Yeah, we're working on it. Everything's good so far, and hopefully next week will be out
Okay.
there for everybody to see. So what we're gonna do is we're like the landing page itself will be very shiny, so that everybody will like, wow, look. So it will be like nice and animated and everything. But when you click on when you want to find out something, you just click on it, like the like about the wallet or about educational stuff. It will redirect to another site or a subdomain, but it will be very educational. So not many stuff will be there to distract the user, so he could learn more about whatever it is what he wants to learn about NXT.
Right. And what is prompting you and David to come up with this? Because there's a bunch of next sites already, and I believe that there should be like one solid place or one focus area or site that people should be able to come to easily. What is prompting you guys to do that now?
Actually, I think that we need an upgrade for the community website, because all previous websites, I don't want to insult anybody, but they look like they need to be more how to say more original, or I don't know.
Okay.
More professional, more educatable to educate people. That's the goal of NXT.org, to educate people about NXT. This is what we want.
Okay.
If we go to other website, there is not much to learn. I mean, there is, but the text itself, it's for NXT people, or only people which know what a crypto is. But we want to bring maybe any person wants to know what NXT is,
Okay. Is there any reason why the name has been changed from Next to NXT now? I mean, I hear several people referencing it as NXT. Did I miss the memo on that?
No, I just think that people pronounce it how they feel it's natural. I think a lot of people just find it easier to say NXT than next because of the word next. So
Yeah.
it's no official. I think we can let people call it NXT or next as they want.
Okay, I guess it's a decentralized currency, so you can call it whatever you want.
I think this is also one of those places where you can try as hard as you want, but if people say NXT, it will be NXT.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's just easier in conversation, like so no one misunderstands what you're talking about when you say NXT. If you say next, it could be like what is coming next. But
Yeah.
but I think we can use them interchangeably. I don't think we have to use
Okay.
one exclusive.
All right.
But
Okay.
but we are basically making the website in the same design that the what is next video, the one you know, the professional one, the
Yeah. Could you post a link to that video, David, or
yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
animator is actually here. The guy who made the video, his name is David. He is the guy with the glasses. If you can see, unfortunately he doesn't have a microphone or a camera with him today. But he's here. He's listening to us.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I want to say that's a very good video. One of the better ones I've seen. And David just posted the link to it. Not the same David, by the way. The David that's on the Google Hangout right now is not the same David that created that YouTube video. Okay.
He's the other David with glasses.
Okay.
All right. Let me also address this issue so that we can clear the air for the next community. You go by BitVenture on Bitcoin Talk, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there was an issue that you have sat on this next.org for a while. You actually originally bought the domain name, and could you talk about, you held off on using it for the next community, and what's prompting you to finally do it now?
No, actually, I was busy with another project, and I was waiting. You can check it out on nextcoin.org.
Okay.
I posted another tweet that I was waiting for people uh, to join me to develop it. You know, I was searching for designers. I was searching for developers. I got approached a few times, but since then they just got lost. And I don't know. Maybe I haven't. I didn't bring them much interest to it, or they just didn't want it after the to join me because I wanted to sell it actually.
Yeah. Now,
That's another story. Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of selling it, right? I just want to clear the air because one of the purposes of this community update is to make sure there's no misunderstandings in the community. I think that you try to sell it for $1 million or $100,000. Like, what were you trying to do? Were you trying to hold the next community ransom, or
no?
Were you trying to strong arm everybody, including myself and everybody in the next community? What were you doing? Was it a joke, or please clear the air on this, okay? Because I'm looking at you, and it's hard for me to imagine that you were trying to sell a domain name for $1 gazillion. You know?
No, it was not $1 gazillion. It was 1,800,000 NXTs.
Okay.
But what I thought was that you know, all these stakeholders which are on the blockchain.
Okay.
You can go there and watch all the wallets, 73 wallets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, 50 or whatever. So I thought, hey, look, they have so many NXTs. Maybe they could, I don't know, pay me 30K or something from that. It's like a teeny small, you know, stake from the whole stake, you know.
Okay.
And it turns out nobody wanted to do that. You know, only a few people, you know, I don't know, some of the good guys who are, you know, contributing to the community. But my goal was not to take from each person, like the whole community should send me, I don't know, the poor nexters or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, I realized it was a bad idea, but I must say I'm pretty happy that it happened because I realized I have a good idea, you know, to how to help the community with NXT.org. So
okay.
I'm not gonna sell it now even for 2 million. If you come to me, you know, and you tell me here I give you 2 million NXT, I will tell you no, man. Sorry, you had your chance. So.
Okay.
This is going to be an interesting experiment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the point. It's a nice experiment.
Just let the record reflect that neither myself or anybody on this panel right now are willing to give you $1 million next or $1 million for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but okay, I'm just gonna step in. I think that the entire issue has been blown way out of proportion.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and look at it, what he did was he bought the domain, the best next domain there is. There is no doubt that next.org is the best domain there is.
I agree.
Like you can't get it better than that. And make a little profit. I don't see anything wrong with that. Every one of us want to make profit. Every one of us wants the next price to go up.
Yeah.
We are all wanting some.
Yeah, I understand that you wanted to make a profit from it, a BitVenture, and I'm glad that you are here to clear the air on that. And I am glad to also see that you are using Next.org to promote Next now and to make it go live. And so, how does someone help you support it, or if someone wants to contribute content to it, how do they get in contact with you or with David, or how does that work?
So. David found me, and then we find a few more people to animator, yeah, a coder from my side. Out of NXT, unfortunately, there were another 2 coders which just got lost for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe they got busy with some other project. I don't know, but you know.
Okay, so how do people contribute content to it now that they know that it's going to come online? How does someone in the Next community help you create content for it?
I can answer that one because the plan that we have is to first of all we publish the site and we're going to have the basic information, you know, the wiki that we already got, the information that we already have written down, and then we plan on having a news site like news.nxt.org, and then we are trying to find some good writers, some who can write articles, news articles about Next. So basically, if anyone out there has a talent for writing and want to contribute, just contact us and we will discuss it.
Okay.
Because we are just trying to make nxt.org the center, like the best site that we can make it. Because right now the different Next sites don't even have any. They don't even have any updates.
Okay.
So
we also have Salsa CZ with us, who's on the marketing committee also, and in charge of the bounties and the articles and all that stuff. So if you guys, whenever we have him on next, after BitVenture is done, make sure that we remember to ask him about the articles and stuff, and see what we can do to get the community to help contribute to it. Okay.
Yeah. So if there are any good content, we want it on the site. Of course, the site is not going to be some privately held business. We are trying to make it a community site, so we want to involve everyone who has the talent or dedication. So just contact us, and we will find something to work on together.
Okay. When you say contact us, could you or BitVenture leave an email, Bitcoin Talk name or something there in the chat box so that people who are watching this can follow along and reach out to you guys? Is there anything else that you want to add about next.org, BitVenture?
So yeah, I wanted to add that there will be no monetization involved. So I'm not going to make money out of it.
Okay.
It
So
means
no
there
ads.
won't be no ads. There won't be no I don't know, clicks or whatever. Only
Okay.
education. That's the goal.
All right. You might want to set up some kind of donation too, so that people can donate to it, so that you guys can help get recruit writers and other people.
Actually, I was thinking about that. I was thinking that because we are making Next.org we are trying to make it the best site possible. I think that we are going to put in a request for a bounty in the infrastructure committee, because Next.org will obviously be a part of the Next infrastructure.
Okay. All right. All right. If you don't have any, do you have anything else before I move on to have Salsa on?
No, I just want everyone to contact me on the mail that I posted on the chat, and so if anyone wants to help, just tell us.
Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us today, BitVenture, and I'm glad that you were able to be here to clear up the air and let everyone know the updates on next.org. All right. Coming up next, are you available right now, Salsa?
Maybe.
All right. So just so that everyone knows, in case they're new to Next, everyone that's been here since the beginning knows Salsa has been a big contributor to the Next community. He's on the marketing committee right now, and he's helped out a lot to distribute the bounties to get Next out there with articles, videos, and a bunch of stuff. So could you talk a little bit about the marketing and the bounties and that massive Google document that you have to track everything that's going on, so that, because a lot of people that are new to the community are not aware of these things going on behind the scenes, Salsa. So if you can educate everyone on that, that would be really helpful to spread the word on Next.
Well, first of all, I think that the Google Doc should belong to the past. We can very soon we will probably forget about this whole table. So I would start by the basic. What we are going to do right now is to focus on education. What is next, as was said, and how can we present it? Do we want to say why is Next better than Bitcoin or anything else? So right now we are discussing about these topics in our forums. You can find them in the general section. and then we are going to provide some texts, graphics, and videos about this.
All right, before you continue, just real quick so that all the viewers will know, we've had several different Next forums. Which one, is there a specific one that you recommend that people focus on, or to gather together so that we have a central and local forum, or is that good or not good, or could you talk about that? Because there's so many forums that it's kind of confusing which one that the new people should come and go to and focus on.
Yeah, I think right now there is only one that we like most. It's nxtforum.org or nxtforums.org, and you can find a promotion section there. So if you want to contribute, you can enter the topic about videos, articles, infographics, or presentations, or something more specific like speakers or conferences and so on.
All right. So go to basically if someone wants to receive bounties for their articles about Next, videos, or they want to speak at a conference, go to nextforum.org.
Yes, there are two possibilities right now. If you want to make some bigger project, you should probably ask the marketing committee. But it needs some time to fill all the forms, and you need to wait for voting, and it's not very easy. So if you want to do something small and something bigger later, you can start by the bounties I have set in the past, and I will, after we will discuss this thing in the committee, we will publish more information about it. So it's basically going to reward everyone who, or every good quality article, video, or graphic about Next. Or
Right.
if you want to start a magazine and you aren't sure if you will be rewarded, I can say, okay, start it. We will see. We will get something in first weeks, and then we will see the numbers, statistics, and then you will be able to make some bigger proposal about bigger rewards or something like that.
Okay. Could you give an example, Salsa, of the difference between the small proposals and the big proposals? You're saying that the small proposals can be decided on very quickly by you, but the bigger proposals need to be decided by the committee, the marketing committee. Is that correct?
Yeah, the marketing committee is voting. There needs to be 3 votes for the project to be approved.
Okay.
And in this, for example, you can know Daedalus. He's working on the NXT glossary. He's there is a big number of words he's describing, like blockchain shrinking or asset exchange. And I was going to reward him because he's doing a great job, but he never asked for anything. And the thing is, he never showed his next ID. So I had to send him message, where is your ID? I want to give you some reward. And he was very surprised and happy, but he still didn't give me his ID because he's not excited about it yet, or he's not ready or finished. So.
Okay, so on one hand, you have someone that is producing some good content to promote the next protocol, the next platform and everything, and they are not requesting a bounty for it. And then on the other hand, we have people that come into the next community specifically just to work for the bounty.
Yes.
Is that a good thing? Is that a conflict of interest? What are your thoughts on that?
I think the best would be if we had some site. It could be the Kickstarter, next Kickstarter. There would be a section for bounties. So everyone will be able to create a bounty for anyone. It will be published there, so you will be able to see the list of proposed bounties and choose some topic that you want to grab and work on it. and it will be much better than some stupid Google Docs that are not very usable.
Okay. All right. The other question that I have is this, right? Is that you are on the marketing committee. You've been voted to be on the marketing committee for NXT, and there's 5 people on the committee, including we have 2 of you guys on with us today, you and Damelon, whose real name is Bass. Now, you guys have a certain amount of unclaimed coins from the NXT community that you guys are using to fund the marketing efforts of NXT. Is that correct? It's like 3 or 4 million NXT coins in that, or something like that.
2.9.
Excuse me.
2.6.
Okay,
2.6. Yeah.
Okay, 2.6 million, right? Now you also have a separate the 2.6 million NXT coins that are in the marketing committee has to be voted on by 3 out of 5 committee members. Now you also have a separate pool of NXT coins that was entrusted to you to distribute as bounties before the committee was created. Is there any left in that to be distributed, or how does that get distributed now that because you're in charge of 2 buckets of NXT coin, the separate bucket and then the committee bucket? How does that work? Could you share that with the community?
Yeah, right now we've got 200,000 NXT for I think for conferences. So we will be able to pay the conference in Amsterdam, for example, from it, and in Vienna and etc. Plus, there are still some money left from the unclaimed coins for the small marketing, where we can reward articles, videos, infographics. When the reward is between 1 to 5,000, it could be paid from this fund. It won't be nothing bigger. And,
okay. Yeah. So that the community understands. So you have this small fund with a few 100,000 NXT coins in it.
Yes,
that you get to make the decision on your own, correct? You don't need the permission or approval from the NXT coin. The NXT marketing committee. That's something that you can make the decision on your own.
Well, right now I'm starting to get the fund started by donations from Come From Beyond and Niji, so I was able to spend it as I wished. But then I got the donation from the unclaimed coins. So first I will discuss this in the committee. So we will discuss about if we pay wiki translations from it or some websites and etc.
Okay. Just so
we will discuss it within the committee, because those are unclaimed coins now.
Okay, so just so that for the community, in case someone is new to the NXT community, you mentioned Come From Beyond donated you some NXT coins, and then another person that goes by the name Near G also donated you some coins. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, and you said that you're going to talk to the marketing committee to try to incorporate that into the marketing committee funds. Is that my understanding, or is that? Is that, or is that still going to be kept separate?
Yeah, I think it could be kept separate because it will be very easy, and but I would like to publish some rules or something like this, and that will be kind of approved by more people than just one. I don't like this centralized leadership by one guy who decides who will get all bounties and so on.
Okay, as soon as you have that, I would love to have you back on so that you can share it broadcast it to the community so that everyone can understand it. Because I think that sometimes when you speak like you are right now, it's a lot easier to understand, and because if people don't hear what you're saying and they just see the chats, sometimes there can be a misunderstanding. So look forward to that. The other question is that did you have a question here, Bas? You said you're looking.
Yeah, there was a question by Fatih about if we are still looking for speakers, and I answered it.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. Let me see. The other thing too. Did you any of you guys have any other questions for Salsa?
I have one.
Yes.
I would like to know if Salsa has some editors, or someone, or if he had any idea that he could, for example, write articles on sites like Crypto Coin News or CoinDesk or any other, that he could use money from the money which he has, and pay for articles which are on those websites. For example, if you go to, I will post the link. 1 second.
Okay, while you're posting the link there, BitVenture, Faith Fatih asked if they saw a roadmap from the developers today for Next. Do you, Salsa or Damelon, you guys are on the marketing committee? Do you guys have a roadmap for the marketing of Next coming up, or is that something you guys are working on, or is that something that's necessary?
Well, this is one of the things. I was very happy that today Jean-Luc posted the roadmap. It's one of the things that I and anyone in marketing can disagree with me, but one of the questions that we from the marketing group get a lot is you have to do this and you have to get this out, but it's very difficult to get the message out on something that's basically not clear. If you start promising features that aren't fleshed out yet, and some of these things are still fluctuating. Jean-Luc today posted a roadmap, not with dates, because that's very difficult for the technical committee at this moment to post, to say this will be finished then, because a lot of these things are interconnected, but at least there now is a step-by-step plan of this is going to be finished, this is going to be finished, this needs to be done before we can do this. So now we can start on getting more of the message out. But one of the things that people really need to realize about Next is, and I think Tim already said this too, is we're very young. So a lot of these things, of the ideas, are also still in development. How to do certain things on the asset exchange is not always clear-cut. It looks clear-cut from the outside. You have to do this way, but it turns out that that issues like security sometimes need to take precedence on that, and those aren't always clear from the start. This is something we notice when we talk to the technical developers. So yes, there is a roadmap, but there is not a roadmap like next month we have this, next month we have that. That's just not possible at this moment. What we do know is that we need to get, for instance, the message just about the fact that Next as a second-generation cryptocurrency that does smart contracts, that is trying to do atomic transactions, that is working on creating an asset exchange that will be usable for companies. All these things are clear that we're going to develop these. The way that they will be developed in the end is not always totally clear yet. The product needs to be usable, needs to be simple, needs to be understandable. There are in our community lots of people with different ideas about that, and that just takes time in a community that is mainly decentralized. So that's my view on this. Also to get the idea out of what I see very much is a kind of seesaw. In one way that, okay, we need to do something, and it's almost a cry for one person to take control, and on the other hand, a very clear tendency to want to be very decentralized. And this is a tension that we will have. So I don't think we will ever resolve that.
Okay. Your comments, Salsa?
I would like to respond to BitVenture first. When we want to publish some article, our philosophy is to pay to writer, to corrector, translator. But if it needs to be published wants to be published at some news site, our philosophy is not to paying for it. So we try it, ask journalists, but if there will be any very, very important news like asset exchange, we are definitely going to spend some next on it, but only for very, very important news, and mostly we are trying to publish for money only for most important news, and to pay our next only for our nexters and not to some external sites.
I see a question now from Mikael in the sidebar. It's about the roadmap without dates. It's a frustration that I share with you. It's very difficult to get these dates because apparently some things like the asset exchange. The asset exchange was pegged to basically be out now. Turned out that a feature like fractions needed to be in there first. That took longer. So all these things tend to be interconnected, and sometimes, and I think this is something that we as a community should be honest about, is sometimes the communication can really be better. This is also something that we're trying on the background to work on. I know from a lot of people that are talking to a lot of people to get the communication between the different parts that we have. We have an infrastructure part, we have a technical part, we have our marketing part, that need to talk better to each other. And that's a challenge. It definitely
Maybe you know, since you and Salsa are on the same marketing committee, maybe you guys can get together and organize the committees to have, you know, frequent meetings, at least every other week or once a month or something, so that everyone is on the same page, you know. And we also have Aaron here, who goes by Anon136 on Bitcoin Talk. I think he's on one of the committees, either the technical or the infrastructure. Is that correct, Aaron?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm tech dev.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, if anyone has any questions about that, you know, I'm here.
Okay. So you have Aaron here, you have Salsa and Damon, so at least half the committees are here, so maybe you guys can make an arrangement to chat with each other or speak in private and then discuss that. You know. Is there anything else that you want to update the community on, Salsa?
Right now, just visit our forums and our section promotion and choose, if you want to contribute, choose the topic, or you can contribute just by writing ideas. We are open to get any ideas, so what we can do, how we can do, ideas about videos, anything. You don't have to write the whole article, you can create just a few words. Everything helps. Everything is helpful. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, Salsa, and we look forward to you know, some updates again in the future for the community, and I'm sure that they'll appreciate hearing you for the first time on this update. So, do you have anything to add, Aaron? I know that we're running kind of late, guys, with that blockchain 2.0, but that was, you know, pretty important and big news, so I wanted to include it on today's broadcast. But to wrap it up, do you have anything to add to update the community on the tech, Aaron?
Yeah, sure. So we've got 2 initiatives funded now, or one's, I guess, only one initiative. Well, one is a back payment for BTC to Next for testing that he did on the asset exchange, and the other is that we've approved a bounty to Kayem for his for his
The automatic transactions?
automatic transactions. That's right. And so we've replaced, so eMoney RU has, I guess, taken a little break or left, or we're not really sure what's happened with him. And Jean-Luc officially stepped down from the committee, so that was 3 people, but we've added another person. We've added Antast, I guess that's how you say it. So now there's 4 of us who are active on the committee.
Okay,
And if anyone has some sort of idea or a bounty that they want to get funded, or payment for something that they've done that's relevant to this sort of work, there is a sub-forum on nextforum.org for applications, or if anyone wants our services, go there. We haven't had too many people there yet. Only had 2 postings. One was from a member of our committee, so we're hoping some more people will stop by with requests and suggestions and things like that.
Okay, and Bass just added the link that you were referencing for the Technical Development Committee in the chat box, so if you guys wanted to follow along that.
There's
could you just
one specific for applications. So.
Okay. Hey, could Aaron, could you give some examples when you said the technical stuff for Next? What exactly are you looking for?
Anything that affects the core. So it's not stuff that's built on top. So if someone creates sort of a protocol or defines a way of solving a particular problem that actually goes in the core NRS client, that's stuff that falls into our jurisdiction.
Okay, so you're looking for coders then and developers.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that Java coders specifically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got some interviews coming up. I think we're going to hire another developer here soon for the core to work with Jean-Luc.
Okay, so is it true? Is it correct to say that Jean-Luc is the main core developer right now, and he's the only one?
Yes, yeah, that's true. He's anyone we add is as far as I understand it, is going to be subordinate to Jean-Luc.
Okay, and what is the role of Come From Beyond now? Is he his contract has ended, so he's no longer the core developer anymore?
I really don't know. Sorry, I don't know.
Okay.
You'd have to ask him.
Okay.
Okay, but there's some other stuff that I wanted to tell you guys about, and one is that I spent a lot of time thinking about transparent forging, and I wasn't really sure whether it could actually work, and I spent a lot of time thinking about it, and I'm about 95% sure that I've solved it, and that transparent forging is something that can be a reality in the future. So that's pretty exciting.
Okay.
And I'm also looking for maybe a web application developer or somebody who could develop a local client for me to try to do something similar to the service that was provided by BitMint. Are most of you guys familiar with BitMint?
I'm not. I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with the service.
Okay, well, it was like a crypto version of eBay. It's a really great service. And now they're gone, and there really isn't any good, strong replacement for them. It's just this big hole that's been missing in the crypto world now. And so I thought it would be really nice to sort of offer the same service that BitMint offered us, but to build it on top of the Next blockchain, so that there wouldn't be any sort of central authority, because when BitMint went down, it's because the administrator of the site, for whatever reason he didn't disclose, said that I'm closing BitMint and that's the end of it. So I think if we built a similar service to what they did on top of the Next blockchain, that there would be no administrator, no person to go down. There'd be no point of weakness. I mean, it would always be there, and it would be censorship resistant.
Hey, just real quick, Aaron, does someone have a baby sound in the background? Could you please turn that off?
That's my baby.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I can't turn her off. She doesn't have a
No, I thought somebody. was making a joke in the background as you were talking. Okay. 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 So you are looking for some developers to help you develop the app to create a new bitmap based on the next platform.
Right. It'll placing orders will be done by way of broadcasting an arbitrary message, probably back to your own address, with interpretable syntax that anyone who's scanning the blockchain can look at that arbitrary transaction and go, oh, okay, this is related to the physical goods store, I guess is what I'm calling it for now. So this is so we have the syntax, maybe it's a prefix, or maybe the message is encrypted with a key that everyone knows that corresponds to the fact that this is that you're posting an order for the physical goods store. And then anyone who wants will be able to scan the blockchain in real time, look at the arbitrary transaction or the arbitrary messages that are coming through, parse out the ones that are related to the physical goods store, and then aggregate and display them however they want in a way that's useful to the community. So there'll be lots of competition in that space, and in how people display and organize the information, the basic information that's being communicated through the arbitrary messages, which is such as, I want to post an order, it's going to cost this much, it's called this, here's a brief description about it, and things like that. Anyone who wants can get into the space of organizing that information for other people to see. But we'll have some basic syntax defined for how you place an order, how you fill an order, and things like this. It's going to be similar to the digital goods store, except there are different needs for a physical goods store, so it won't really fall into that space. We need a parallel system for that, I think. And I have quite a bit of promotional funds that were given to me early on for the purpose of this, so I will be able to pay whoever, if we could find some sort of developer to help me with this, I'll be able to pay them pretty reasonably for their work, market rates and whatnot. So it's not charitable work that I'm asking for here.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Aaron from the technical committee, or anything else, Aaron?
No, that covers it on my end. Any questions?
I have one question for Aaron. This is about the developers. If people would be interested to apply for this, what are the minimum qualifications? Are there minimum qualifications?
You just need some relevant experience in Java development, something that you can show that you've actually done, a product that you've created, something that we can look at that's tangible. That's that more than anything going to be the best qualification. It's not what you say you can do, but what you can show that you've done.
Okay, and it could applications could be done on the forum in the technical development part.
Yes, in the sub forum for applications. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. That's my question.
Okay, let's learn from Aaron, and in the future, if we can keep the updates as brief and to the point as he is, that would be awesome.
Thanks.
So that people don't have to watch the 2 hours of this just to get the same information. Okay, Salsa CZ has left the room so that there's room for optical carrier to come on. Are you on optical carrier?
No, Randall isn't here.
Randall's not here? Okay, did Red Snow just come on?
Yep.
Is that Randall, or under a different name, or?
No.
Okay. Red Snow, if you can, could you go to this link right here on the right and join us there on the YouTube live stream so that there's room for optical carrier to come on and talk about. Okay. All right. Thanks for okay, Fatih.
I can step off also if there's need for slot.
It's okay. We have enough slots now.
Okay.
So let's see. Is Randall? Let me see if I can get a hold of Randall here. Okay. Hello, Clee.
This is Clee.
Yeah. Hey, Clee. While we're waiting for Randall to come on, Could you talk a little bit about the? We had discussed in private one time where you were talking about getting the original Next stakeholders to join in the development of Next. Do you want to talk about that and just make an announcement about that?
Basically, we could not find, early adopters like Pouncer, me, Near, Nair, and Aldrin wanted to have someone to clearly, be responsible for the funds. And we thought that the best solution would be to have Jean-Luc and Aaron. But the problem is that Jean-Luc doesn't want to get involved in anything except coding.
Okay.
So basically, this initiation is a bit frozen in a state that we are stuck, because the problem is that, like the committees that the community has, I wanted to make a committee with early adopters or big stakeholders, because now many guys are having a big stake that they have actually bought it, and they did not participate in the IPO. But I wanted to make a committee. This was my vision, because of efficiency, not any centralization kind of stuff. Because the community would not accept it, and it is a very decentralized community.
Okay.
But it's very, very difficult for people like me and others to, I get many messages every week from people that want to get a fund or donate it. They deserve it most of the time, but it is very difficult for me to handle all this info and to keep track of every every project. And there is always the risk that I will, personally, for example, I can give someone a bounty, and at the same time, someone else pays him too. And this money could very well have been spent to another guy. It is not efficient if you don't have something like a committee to handle the funding, to keep up with the projects. It's more it's more robust. I think sooner or later we need to do this, because it is very important that even if many people are whining about sorry, something happened here. Even if many people are whining about the initial NXT distribution, the thing is that we have a very good weapon in our hands. We have funding. We have these unclaimed funds, but we have early adopters or big stakeholders that are ready to help. And it is a pity that we cannot, move things forward in this, because, especially for me, it's very frustrating that I don't have the feeling that I have, a safe way to give some NXT and forget about them, and have my mind in thinking that they are in a good hands. This guy will handle them good, and I think that for various reasons, Aaron is a very good candidate. Actually, I was trying to come in touch with him, and I couldn't find him. But I'm happy that he's online now, because we can later discuss. And the problem is that we must find someone to handle this money, to be trusted, and to be able to distribute them, because he will have many people coming and asking and claiming to get paid. He will have to decide who is deserving to get paid, what amount, etc. I don't want to be in this position. It's very counterproductive for me.
Okay.
And probably most of the stakeholders too. So we have to find a solution in this.
Okay, so basically, to summarize, what you're saying is that you would like to organize the original 73 stakeholders from the next community, so that because a lot of them want to share their stake to help develop and donate their stake to develop the next platform, but they don't want to spend the time to actually have to make the decision of who to donate to.
Yeah, this is, of course, not especially for the 73 early stakeholders only. Maybe some of them don't have a big stake right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know some that don't. Basically, I was thinking about a committee with people that have more than 10 million NXT.
Okay.
Maybe we can have another group of people with 5 to 10 million NXT too. Anyway, can you? I have something to do. I will be back in 5 minutes. Okay. Sorry about this. My wife is.
Okay, that's fine. We'll catch you on the next update.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. Thanks for joining us today, Clee. All right. So basically, what Clee is saying is that he would like for if you guys are watching this from the next community. If you're one of the original stakeholders, if you have more than 5 or 10 million in Next coins, and he's inviting you to join him to create a committee to make donations to the people that need it, so that they can develop the next platform. And he is suggesting that Aaron, who everyone knows as Anon136, to be one of the individuals responsible for issuing the funds and approving the donations, so that Clee and the other original stakeholders, they just don't have the time to do this, nor do they want to do it. All right. So, does anyone have any questions or anything? We're going to have to catch Clee on the next update because we've run way past our designated time here. Anyone have any last words? All right. So we'll go ahead and end this update for the next community and development update today, and I will look forward to catching you guys at the next live update event.
So I want to ask, like, when is that? Do we have regular times that we scheduled for this?
Yes, we will do it right now every Wednesday at we will do it every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time. I'm getting confused with the GMT time, so I'm just going to say 11 a.m. New York time, and then Eastern Standard Time, and then everyone can from around the world can figure out their GMT and UTC time off of that.
4 p.m. GMT.
So my one suggestion would be not to like set a time for like, hey, we need to end it by now.
Yeah.
But, just let it go. Let it, however long anybody wants to stay. Anybody can leave when they want, or anybody can come in. As long as people want to stay here and do this thing,
Yeah, I just left it when I sent the request out, the invitations out. I mentioned it was 10 minutes just so that each person knows they have a designated slot. But if they need more time, it's okay. But I wanted to make sure they have a designated slot.
Cool.
All right.
I'll see you guys next week.
Okay. So I'll catch you guys next week, guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Okay, bye.
Bye.